Passwords are great, right? They're somewhat easy to create and use, if you remember them. And if you forget them, well, there may be a call or two to the help desk and some downtime. You need to change passwords periodically for different services, and that's strenuous. Passwords live on a server and are easily accessible to hackers. That, along with poor password management practices and human error, all combine to make them highly vulnerable for costly security breaches. In fact, more than 80% of breaches are caused by stolen credentials. So, actually, passwords aren't great, and managing them is costly and resource-intensive. At Yubikey, we've worked towards a radical idea: eliminating the password. Go passwordless and reduce the gaps in security while providing a better user experience. This journey takes time, and we like to look at it as a bridge from passwords to passwordless. One step forward is moving away from using basic multi-factor authentication, such as SMS or mobile apps. The next step forward is to deploy hardware-based phishing-resistant MFA. With a Yubikey, you're already well on your way to passwordless authentication. Is your organization in the cloud or partly? Hardware security with modern FIDO authentication may be the path to passwordless for you. Is your organization in a primarily on-premise environment? Then smart cards could help you achieve passwordless. Is your organization a mix of the two? Then take a hybrid approach. Regardless, the Yubikey supports all of these scenarios, bringing you and your organization along to become securely passwordless, no matter where on the bridge you might find yourself. Never again forget your password. Instead, forget forgotten password altogether, and ensure that your organization is phishing resistant while achieving 92% fewer support incidents, 4 times faster logins, and 0 account takeovers. Yes, 0. Multi-protocol compatible, the Yubikey gets you passwordless ready. And since the Yubikey supports more services than you can imagine, it can even get you up and running passwordless on systems you have today. Bridge the gaps that passwords create, and start your journey on the bridge to passwordless. Experience secure, fast, and easy account access. That's the Yubikey promise.
Hello builders, welcome to ProsTalk. To those who may be just tuning in today, ProsTalk is a social corporate responsibility of building. So this is a platform for anyone who builds. So anyone who is interested to know anything about construction, project management, engineering, architecture, anything about this business. We have a broad network of partners that can provide you with insights and experiences that can help you in the field. So today, in our ProsTalk, we are joined by Architechnologies Incorporated. Here we are with Sir Dennis. Hi, welcome to ProsTalk, Sir Dennis.
Hi, thank you, Philip, and thank you for inviting Architechnologies to ProsTalk. And I'm very happy to represent the company. I'm actually the acting technical director of Architechnologies. We have been, we are a software provider, but I would say we are more than that. I'm an architect, and the company is actually owned by architects. That's what makes us unique. So we kind of tinker around with the software products that we share. We actually call it sharing, instead of selling to our Filipino AEC professionals. Again, I would like to greet all din yung the viewers of your channel, and growing strong. Congratulations.
All right, thank you, Sir Dennis. Thank you for that. For my first question, can you tell us more how your company started?
Yeah, well, so like I said, we are a group of architects who decided to create a software company. But to bring you back to when we really started the firm, it was we had a company, a firm called Dimension Architects, founded in 2009. We kind of handled local projects, and as well as having a US partner that did their projects here in the Philippines. During that time, it was the start of the US economic crash, so we decided to focus on on here in local projects, and we really wanted to figure out, okay, is there an alternative to the popular AutoCAD? So, but however, as popular as it was still very expensive for us to start as a firm. So we decided to look for other alternatives that can work the same with AutoCAD, and it birthed our first partnership with an Italian company who has been providing CAD-based solutions in Europe. So we brought them here in the Philippines, and it's called ProjectCAD. No? So ProjectCAD, Proje meaning project in Italian, progetto kasi yan sa Italian.
Okay.
So they made it Proje and CAD. So, and after that, in 2012, we had an additional software products, and we kind of created another company specifically for the distribution, and it was called the Architechnologies. And then in 2015, we became our corporation. So Architechnologies was birthed in 2015, but it was a journey, a realization, like as a professional who wanted to practice our tools is very important, but of course it should be an asset, not a liability. So that is the sole reason why we continue still. It has been our passion to provide alternative but effective and legal, of course, legal software for the Filipino AEC, and that's why we're here. And we have been very happy to have helped a lot of businesses and firms, because not only did we serve, or we still serve, the EEC, but we have even branched out to education, to even marine. So those businesses have kind of benefited from us representing software that is an alternative to popular and expensive brands.
Well, it's nice to hear the journey of your company, and I'm sure you'll help a lot more schools and other companies that is wanting to learn about this software. So for our next question, what are your products and services, and can you discuss them to us?
Okay, thanks. So, like I said, we started with ProjectCAD. It was really an direct alternative to the AutoCAD. No, and then we added Rhinoceros 3D, which is actually also a very popular software outside the Philippines, but they were founded 1980. So for Rhino, we were able to serve industrial fabrication companies, and very lately, I would say about 4 or 5 years here in the Philippines, a lot of fabrication laboratories has been adopting Rhinoceros as a software. And next to that is we had SketchUp, which is again very popular software for architects. That was previously a Google product, but then they sold it to Trimble. So we have been bringing in SketchUp as well, because I think it's a kind of a very user-friendly, very easy to use software, especially for and I would say the older architects, when they started out trying to do three-dimensional drawings back in 2000s, and they were really inclined to do SketchUp with their designing. And then we also have aside from that, we brought in some supporting support. So you could categorize, we have modeling software and we have rendering software. So the modeling software, we have ProjectCAD, we have Rhino, we have SketchUp, and we even have ZBrush, which is popular for um, 3D sculpting. So it's like sculpting in 3D. So it's used in game. It's used in toy making, of course. And for the rendering, naman uh, we have V-Ray. Again, um, another popular rendering engine is a plugin. So you cannot use V-Ray alone. So it has to be either plugged into other software, a modeling software like SketchUp or ArchiCAD. Oh no, not ArchiCAD, but SketchUp. You can even use 3D Studio Max if you're familiar with that. And of course, we brought in uh, other software that is a standalone, rendering software that is standalone, which is Enscape, Twinmotion, and Keyshot. So Keyshot, I would say, is product design. So we have had clients that use it for product design. It's a very intuitive rendering tool. So yung mga macro shots. So I would say if you see a lot of it's actually being used by automotive sports, no? Sports product like they have recently they I think it was used by Trek, Specialized, and some perfume. So it's heavily used in that regard in the industrial design. Enscape is used by AEC, of course, AEC, and also the nice thing about Enscape, it's VR friendly. So a lot of users like Enscape because they can actually put in goggles, VR goggles, and play around with the design. And recently we also have Twinmotion. So Twinmotion is another very good software because it is based on a game engine. So it's based on the Epic Unreal game engine. And what I like about this Twinmotion is it's very affordable compared to I guess their competitor would be Lumion, which is I would say about almost 8 to 10 times the cost of Twinmotion.
That's true.
Yeah, so so these are the types of software we are trying to bring into the country that are alternative, that really works. It's not it's proven.
Yes,
So we just want to bring this kind of software here in the Philippines, and that's a reason that we exist. So we try to give people options because what will happen if you don't have options? And speaking of options, also we brought in, or we were actually approached by Graphisoft. So Graphisoft is the distributor or the creator of the famous ArchiCAD software, the BIM software, because and it was a very interesting time because of the pandemic. So they recruited us right as we were about to be locked down from the office, locked out of the office. So but yeah, it was I would say a silver lining for the company because we were approached by them, and top-notch professional, very very nice culture. They are very user-centered, I would say, and that's the reason like we really like working with them, and we want to continue to promote and become champions of this brand of software. And yeah, that's basically, I think, that's something that is different from us compared to other our competitors. But I would not even say that we have a competitor because our culture, the company culture, is quite different.
Yes, I agree with that, and I think your company is very broad. Like, lots of professionals like engineers, especially architects myself, is relying on those softwares. So yeah,
Yeah.
and for example, the SketchUp. Or when I was just a student, that's the one we're using, and also the ArchiCAD. And I think Enscape is also very interesting one, since I think it's the most latest and most user friendly on the opinions of a lot. Okay, for my next question, how did you conduct your training before and during the pandemic, and what are the challenges?
Yeah. So before we had a lot of training activities face to face, and that is uh, before pandemic we only had Projicad, Rhinoceros. These are the two software products that we really uh, do a lot of training with. Like even for Projicad, we do it for free, just to introduce the software. And for Rhinoceros, we did a lot of training, more like a custom training. We were invited by fabrication laboratories. So I don't know if you've covered what a fab lab is, or you know what a fab lab is, but globally it has actually impacted uh, creative 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 industries. You want to add something about fab labs? Do you know anything about fab labs?
Actually, it's actually the first time I've heard it. Yeah,
Yeah, so Fab Labs, globally, Fab Labs actually is a place where a community of creators can come in and do a sort of prototyping. So they can prototype a product. So if you are familiar with crowd sourcing,
yes,
yeah, you're familiar. I forgot there were like a couple of apps that
mhm,
Indiegogo, stuff like that.
yeah.
What's the other one?
Mm,
There's another one, but yeah, those products are actually prototyped. So a lot of these people come into fabrication laboratories, fab labs, and they kind of create a 3D print. Let's say if you're going to design a mouse. Okay, so you design the model, you model the mouse, and then you 3D print. Okay, but the cost of technology for 3D printing is very expensive.
yes, that's
But
true.
there's an initiative by governments globally that creating this kind of community. They're making it affordable.
Mm,
So Rhino is one of the most used software in Fab Labs. So there are even Fab Labs that have this big wood wood uh, wood making, like wood furnishing machine. So let's say if you want to create furniture, your own furniture, you can actually make it by hand. You can prototype.
mm,
So that's why it's called fabrication laboratory. So you can so even that, like some fabrication laboratories, they conduct seminars on creating the, let's say doing some electronics. Like, okay, so you can find resource for, or a person that knows how electronics that can help you make a functional mouse, something like that. So that's like actually not a trend, but they're calling it the future, because that is where 3D printing technology,
yeah,
so it's a big subject to talk about. but
yeah.
but Rhinoceros, so the Philippine government has been investing on fabrication laboratories. Most of our installations and trainings have been done in UP. Like we did UP Diliman, UP Cebu. So you can actually go to those areas. And there's even one but most state university, technical universities are creating their own fab labs. So if you want to, you have your own creation and you want to do 3D printing, you can go to those places. They're open to the public. Some of them are even funded by DTI. You can go to those places, have your models 3D printed, and you have your own product. Or you can do CNC. You can, and it's very affordable. The products, the services are very affordable because it's government funded. There's even one here in Cebu. They had an activity pre-COVID. They had cosplayers. So cosplayers, they created their own equipment. So they download some 3D model from the internet, and
It's 3D printing, right?
3D printing, yes. And they have a meetup, so they can do the electronic side of it, no? So maybe they made Iron Man helmet and made it move, put the lights. So it's actually trying to promote a community of creatives, the fabrication laboratories, and hopefully in the future you might want to talk to some of these fabrication laboratories and help them promote, because this is a very good initiative by the government. And jumping to that, training wise, we were doing face to face, and mostly in direct to companies. We go directly to their office and conduct training. And we even invited some of, like, for McNeil, the owner of Rhinoceros. They have an office here in Kuala Lumpur. So we brought in their experts and had a roadshow. So we went to the CSB and invited a lot of architecture students.
CSB, like here in Manila.
Yeah, here in Manila.
Yeah.
So we had, and then a lot of students. It was open to all architecture students. And then day after, we had it here in Cebu City, wherein it was held in the University of San Carlos. They also invited all architecture students and schools to see what is Rhino and Grasshopper all about. So those were like our training activities. And so during COVID, we were approached by Graphisoft. So one of their KPIs actually was you have to promote. So since no face to face, so we did a lot of webinars with ArchiCAD. And just like you, we have our own channel, but mostly it's recordings of our webinars. But so hindi na before I was like, I'm not really sure how to interact with a small hole in the front of my laptop or camera, but we became a little bit more comfortable in the long run. Kasi, but it really opened up opportunities for us, because we were invited from different parts of the country, which normally we would not have the kind of exposure. So we attended. We attended some United Architects of the Philippines chapter meetings. We sponsored. We presented. We were invited as a resource speaker as well. About we talked more about what is BIM in the context of ArchiCAD. That's a normal. That's a new normal right now for us.
True. Actually, that's really great. This field is really large. Like, for example, I agree with that the future labs is the future, because it can not only help us engineers, architects. It can also help product designers. For example, the material engineer. Like, for example, they're trying to design their products, and 3D printing is really the future.
Yeah, because it's actually it's because I think here in the Philippines we can do manufacturing, and in the context, maybe in just my knowledge about furniture. Uh, so here in the Philippines, we are very good furniture manufacturers.
Yes.
Craftsmen are very good craftsmen, but the creative side is very limited. We only have very few. I would say international brand in terms of furniture, but the people that manufacture is top notch. So hopefully, we can continue to nurture. The government can still invest more on that kind of creating, supporting the creative industry. So kasi nandito na yung manufacturing capability
Yes, that's true.
in terms of the quality, not on quantity. Kasi we are always behind quantity, but the quality of creating is here. We just have to make sure that we can create the next the genius in product design or architecture or engineering as well.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. No? For example, yeah, we have the quality of the products, and yeah, we have the design given that. So I think if this technology is used in our country, yeah, I think we can work on that quantity, right?
Yes, I believe so. I mean, given how the direction of the global economy is going, I think local consumption is even more crucial than ever
Yes,
right
that's
now
right.
to
Yeah.
to move our own economy.
Yeah. Okay, so moving on, it's really great topic, right? So, we want to know about the Yubikey. So, can you tell us what Yubikey is and how does it work?
Okay, so again, this is something that's quite interesting because like we only do software, right? We also actually try to deal with hardware. We're thinking, okay, mm, uh, first hardware we might do is like a 3D printer, but we found out during our market study that 3D printers are really expensive and kind of hard to sell in a way. So uh, we were introduced accidentally. We were introduced to the concept of security. No, so how do you secure your your uh, yourself in the internet? We only know of okay passwords. We only know okay. We're always told make sure that you have antivirus in your computer, stuff like that. But right now it's a digital it's a digital lifestyle. So it's no longer only about your computer, but it's also about your uh, mobile phone. Your how can you secure that? That's something that hasn't been really professed by a lot of people here in the country, but or it might not be heard enough or discussed enough. So uh, we just found out that uh, about this concept of two-factor authentication, and I think most people, if you have your online bank, you're always asked to look for a code in
Yeah.
your the bank might text you or something like that. But again, you also receive text from bank that you should not answer different questions. So those are kind of really scary in a way, and it's manifested. You can see that there are account takeovers, people taking over. Like somebody's in Messenger asking for money. Who actually is somebody took over their account and asking the relatives for money, and those things are like really scary because they are true. I mean,
True. Yeah.
so we stumbled upon this nifty gadget, and I think this is also very relatable to everyone because the Yubikey is just a USB powered. It's a USB powered not like even a gadget because you just need to plug it into your computer, and uh, it will authenticate you, no? So one thing kasi na hackers cannot take away something, or very difficult for them to take away something physical. So they might so the concept of phishing is they're able to go inside your computer or your cell phone, get all of your if you save your password,
Yeah.
or even if you're typing your password, they're already getting your password, no? But if you have something physical, and then you plug it in to confirm, so you're authenticating it twice, no? So you're saying, okay, I have a password, but I also have a Yubikey. Then it will prevent them, even if they get if they get your password, they log in to your account, they cannot go in because it's asking for a Yubikey. Yeah. So, and we know naman, diba, like most hackers, most those companies, somehow they belong in other countries. I'm just but we know of this, no? So those people are remotely somewhere very far from where you are. So most likely they will not have your Yubikey, your physical key. So that's the whole concept of it, and it has really worked because one of the first users of the Yubikey was Google. So when they used that kind of way of having their employees log in to their accounts, the takeover, the account the account takeovers in their company reduced to, I think, if I'm not mistaken, about 99%. So like overnight when they used it, nobody was hacked. Nobody could be hacked because of that. No, so that is something that we're trying to bring in here in the country, and it actually is recognized. It is recognized by institutions. So after that, Google did not use Yubikey anymore because they created their own. But it's very hard to purchase their own kind of two-factor authentication gadget.
That's,
But
that's smart for them.
yeah, because in a way, baka they're thinking, okay, somebody might, but in any case, the technology exists, and it's not, it can be very secure for just 2,000, 3,000 pesos. So, and the good thing about Yubikey is, if you go to their website, you can see a lot of applicable apps and software like Google and Facebook. So you can use it in your social media. You can even use it if you're using stock market. You're doing crypto trading. So you can actually use that to protect your digital assets, your access. So that is something I think really brilliant, and we have been actually very successful in with our, because one of the early the actors here in our country are the BPOs. So companies, BPO companies, if they say, okay, our agents are using a two-factor authenticator, and Yubikey is number one globally, then they would get more clients outside. More clients will support, because in let's say in a setting of a call center, right? You have one computer,
Yes.
and three shifts if it's like 24 hours. So if God forbid there's like a security leak just for the one computer, but three people got hacked, or the computer got hacked. So with the YubiKeys, it actually protects data, and even from different users from accessing the data of the user.
Actually, that's really the future of privacy. Like for on the today's age, today, since the pandemic hit, so everyone is online. is transacting online, doing online businesses, and etc. And if I may ask, a lot of our subscribers would be for sure interested with your product. So, do you have like an affiliate link? Where do you sell your products?
Well, they can directly. So the thing is, if you are a uh, if you just want to purchase like a small piece, like one piece, two pieces, like that. So we have an online store, and you can access that. Just go to Yubikey Philippines in Facebook. It is one of our page, and all of the instructions for purchasing will be there. Um, if you like, most of our clients are B2B kasi, so we deal with volumes, so they directly get in touch with us for volume orders.
I see. Okay. So, how about like Shopee or Lazada? Do you have like products there?
Okay, so right now we are working on that. However, there's a like in our UBK Philippines, it's actually linked to a marketplace. Then it's called We Sell IT that
Hmm? I see.
does uh, does the similar thing as payment and disbursement. So the thing with ano kasi with Yubikey, we also have to make sure that whomever is buying, we know whomever is buying. So there's a system that we also have to inform Yubikey that okay, this person purchased or something like that. So but we're working on it. We're working on it. Like I said, this is our first foray on something that is hardware
Yes.
versus the software that we're quite used to. We do have a store for our software. Um, it's called Architechnologies Store. That is our store website. Our main website is architechnologies.com for information about products and services that we provide. Um, but yeah, those are and for Facebook as well. You can find us at just type in Architechnologies, and you will find us in Facebook, and you'll see all our information, and also about our collaboration. So we aside from uh, so right now we're kind of we're kind of taking advantage of people with webinars. You know, they're more inclined right now to
Yeah.
rather have webinars than a face-to-face meeting. So we have worked with our product partners to make sure that we have international speakers to talk about the products and how they use it. So we try to bring that as well to our client, and these are all for free, right? So just follow us in our social media
Mm.
accounts.
Yeah. Okay. Like I'm just curious about for example, do you cater or go to schools, like for example, partnering with universities or institutes? How do you do that or manage
Yeah,
that?
most of our clients, like we do have educational institutions as clients. Uh, so they just approach us and with their requirements. So mostly if it's software, we do training and we provide of course the quotations and stuff like that. And we also have partnerships. So those for in fact with Graphisoft, we always encourage to have the schools to have an MOU, because Graphisoft likes to partner with schools. So right now we're trying to help them, and it's very good. It's very nice what Graphisoft is doing, because they're partnering with Architechnologies, and we're trying to create a BIM curriculum. So we're trying to tie in what ArchiCAD is about in the context of it as a BIM software, and try to fit to the requirements of the
Yes.
schools here in the Philippines. Kasi iba-iba yung ano eh. And the good thing is Graphisoft, Hong Kong, and Singapore is helping us with that. Especially if naka-MOU, if schools have MOU with us, and Graphisoft, then we do help them. We have future plans as well to have competitions for students. Before we were partners, but I saw that Graphisoft had programs wherein students that win their competition actually travels to Budapest, to the headquarters of Graphisoft, and there will be like a boot camp in a way. Graphisoft will teach them all ArchiCAD things for 1 week, and they get to enjoy it. No? So that was before COVID. Hopefully, we can do that something. We're planning something like that for Asia. Being Singapore as the main hub here in our region.
Yeah, actually, before when I was studying, actually I study in Mapua. So we have we have a course or subject that that includes ArchiCAD, but sadly, after now after I graduated, ArchiCAD is not that much used in the work. So I think this is really a great opportunity for you guys to promote ArchiCAD and Graphisoft.
Yeah. That's why we're very appreciative of having Buildy as a channel for us to express this. No, this is an open invitation for your viewers who are in education to get in touch with us, because I believe Mapua was handled by a different partner before. So we're not I'm gonna say we're not the only partner of ArchiCAD here in the Philippines. However, we're the only partner that's conducting this kind of activity, because like I said, it is one of our core values as a company that we want to really bring in. And we want, like I said, we're not selling, we're just sharing whatever we learn. We want to help bring all those technical knowledge to our schools, which is really important. Because if we're gonna talk competition in terms of the BIM realm, I would say that Graphisoft is more future proof compared to our competitor, because our competitor, they have a closed ecosystem, so they want you to go into their ecosystem and use all of their products. But see, Graphisoft, they have this open ecosystem. It's called Open Beam. Actually, I want to just talk about it for a little bit. There's an international standard for BIM. There's already an ISO 19650, which is supposed to be the international standard for BIM, and it was developed partly from UK. There's a BSA there in UK that it's kind of their BIM authority. Parang OBO sa atin or DPWH sa atin, but BIM lang lahat talaga. So they kind of created their own standard wherein any kind of BIM, any kind of software, no bias to any brand can follow. So you can create the model in this BIM software, but you can actually export it to different other software, or other software can use the model that you're using if you're following that it's schema. It's called IFC, the IFC, the Industry Foundation class. It's a schema. So if you follow the schema, it should be interoperable with other software. Kasi the BIM is not only modeling, it's about process. It's about data, it's about analysis, so there are very good software that can actually just function, not all, but part of the BIM process. They can function very well. Like for example, there's a product called Solibri that can do clash detection very well just using IFC, and it can also do parang automated checking of the model, not only clash detection, but you can actually write the rules. You can put rules, and automatically it will check the model. No? So that's its function. It's not a BIM. It's not a BIM software, but it checks BIM model. So those are things like, and it is part of Open BIM initiative. So Graphisoft is banking towards that direction. Na there might be other software that can really enhance your BIM experience or BIM process, but you have to make sure that you share properly. It's not in a closed ecosystem. Kasi pag closed ecosystem, then you have to look for other compatible software that can do the same thing, but it has to be their brand. No, so that's for me. No, it's future proofing your company, your practice. That's what I really like about Graphisoft and their culture.
Yeah, that's really great. I mean, like for example, it's giving the users lots of options. For example, like what you said, there's this software that other software can operate without, right?
Yeah, because you don't need to be the modeling software and then do the checking. Yeah, that's okay. That's part of the BIM process as well. Although there is checking in ArchiCAD, like what BIM software should be. But there are others that might be good and even better. And in fact, if you understand, we cannot put everything in just for like one person is going to do everything. It's not really, doesn't really make sense.
Yes.
Because if you're creating a project and you're banking in on isang tao lang pwede niyang gawin lahat, then it's wrong, because if there's no check and balance, then that project might fail or will fail kasi So we know naman in the whole industry, it's really it's a team effort, and it's a process.
Yes.
Hindi one time. So it's always a stage. There's even one thing that is not yet fully appreciated here in our country, which is do we call it the life cycle? Okay, so building life cycle actually should be extracted from the BIM model. No, so what I mean about life cycle is how long is your building going to last? What is the cost of operating your building? So these are actually questions that is very intriguing for clients, because that's how they know that their building, their money will be, diba? Kasi it's all about projections. So how can you invest in something if you don't know how much it's gonna cost to operate? How easy it's going to be maintained.
Yeah, actually, it's giving the clients or the people like security. They're giving us the exact life cycle, for example.
Yeah, it's really about projections.
Yeah,
and of course, one of the main thing is sustainability.
Yes.
So how can if you ask a sustainability expert, it's just really not about the materials, but also about projections.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. So how are we measuring it? So that's a big question.
Yeah, that's true. Actually, this is a really big, broad topic. Yeah, perhaps we can make another episode to this.
Yeah, and it's also considered in ArchiCAD. I mean, they have also there's another software called ArchiFM that can actually get ArchiCAD data that can do this facilities management, and then we're actually talking with them, trying to we're bringing in other plugins that make Graphisoft or ArchiCAD better. There's one that we're talking with. It's called LAN4 that can do more like a civil 3D function in BIM, right? So yung land development. So and we have also EPTAR. EPTAR is for reinforcement, to calculate the reinforcement needed for the BIM model.
I see. Now, actually, this is a very interesting one. Graphisoft is making everyone else work easier. Like for example, like estimates, like what you said, building life cycle. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
So and actually they're transitioning,
mhm,
from designers, BIM, to really like a whole BIM.
okay.
They started it about two versions ago, wherein
Mm,
they literally decide to bring in the engineer inside, because ArchiCAD, like people
yeah,
think, ArchiCAD architecture, that's architecture
yeah,
software. So for the design, but yeah, there's more to it right now. No,
that's true.
there's even a function wherein you can export, so you can export uh, for structural computation directly
Mm,
from ArchiCAD. ArchiCAD does not do the analysis, but the model from ArchiCAD can be extracted and
yes.
readily be analyzed, and so are back and forth. So the engineer and architect can start at the same time, when they're layouting the building,
Mm,
creating the space, and also making sure that the structure
mm, yeah,
works.
yeah. See, okay. Um, pretty as much as we want to talk about this, na, I think it's best to. I hope you can guest again on ProsTalk, so
Yeah.
that we can talk more
Uh,
about this.
Most of the time, it takes us 2 hours to talk just about
Oh,
ArchiCAD.
really? Yeah, yeah.
uh, yeah, I can even invite later on. We can
Mhm.
invite somebody from Graphisoft themselves. I can definitely bring him in. He's been partnering with us. His name is Eugenio, Architect Eugenio Fontan.
Mm, yeah,
He's actually an experienced uh, BIM architect,
I've heard
and
about.
he's the one. Yeah, he's the one talking or speaking to schools right now. We're bringing him and talk to schools and advocating about ArchiCAD. So
I see.
yeah.
Yeah, that's really great. So, I guess before we wrap up this interview, can you again promote Architechnologies and can you tell us how we can reach you? They can reach you.
Yes. Yes. Thank you again. Thank you for having us for this interview. You can contact Architechnologies to our Facebook page. We have just type in Architechnologies Inc. Our website is architechnologies.com. Our store is for software is architechnologies.store. Uh, and yeah, I think that's I think most people most people need, no? Just
Yeah.
our website and social media, and we do have some Instagram,
Mhm.
and we also have a YouTube channel. But if you really, we are more monitoring our Facebook page. So if you want to get in touch with us really fast, then just message us in Architechnologies in Facebook.
Okay, right. That's amazing, and thank you so much, Sir Mayo. And thank you so much for giving us your time and talking with us and sharing our technologies. Okay.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, so to our viewers, stay tuned for more ProsTalk episode on Build It TV, and hoping to see you again, sir. Thank you
We'll
for
be
watching.
happy.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you for watching.